6 months into the future, downtown, midnight, dark alley, Gomer tucked in behind a disgusting dumpster, watching the back door of his intended target. The door opens, a well-armed thug steps into the alley. Gomer leans what can only be described as his Miggs Mayfield gimbaled shoulder rig 9mm silenced pistol clear of the dumpster and lets fly 2 silence rounds, dropping the thug. He steps from behind the dumpster and enters the business. I think he pulls off that Oculus, has a bit of a piercing headache. Now for me, that brought 2 options forward that we're going to roll for randomly. I think he could be caught in the lab by his boss. Maybe Bernadine is still there, prepping for the new employee that's coming in tomorrow. Or on a totally different level, a janitorial member who is his normal hours are working late. So maybe he sees him in there. I feel like it's going to be weighted toward janitorial staff. I think it's probably a near sure thing, 90%. So if I get a 90 or less, it's going to be janitorial staff. 38. Okay. If not, I was going to go with it was the boss coming in. So, all right, for janitorial staff, I have a person in mind. And sometimes I like to imbue an NPC with either a person that I've read about or whatever, but this is a real person of mine. I used to be a school resource officer. I was a police officer in a school, and the janitor that was there was a black guy who was not highly educated, but he was very wise. He was both wise with the street, so he had been in some trouble in his youth. He was now in his late 30s, if I remember right. He had grown out of those problems, realized he needed to land a job that would be secure and make the money, and that, quite honestly, for him, that he could do on his own. But he would drop these little wisdom nuggets that were influenced by his street intelligence. So we're going to go with that. That's the janitor staff I'm picturing, but I want to make him a little older. Let's make him 50. So 50 years old. I'm picturing clean shaven, and I think as Gomer's taken off this Oculus, he's got a piercing, stinging kind of like headache where his own mental defense or his own mental power system is struggling with this load of information that Grok 4 is either in the process of installing or his brain is in the process of working out. As Gomer, in his kind of already physically weakened state, sets it down and just kind of leans back, and I think he's pale and he's almost nauseous and he's grabbing on to the chair. I think he's sitting there. I imagine the janitor saying, it's going to be direct, like, "What in the hell are you doing, son?" Southern accent, he's got it. And I think, boom, that shoots Gomer's eyes open nervously. And he looks over, and we've got, somehow I can just picture the janitor leaning on like his mop and just kind of studying Gomer. And he's already made this comment of, "What in the hell are you up to, son?" I think Gomer just says, "Well, I'm trying to calibrate." Now we've got to come up with a name for our friend here. Let me go biblical. Let me go male, and we're going to just swing through here. Jonah. Okay. Jonah. Good enough. So, Jonah. Again, streetwise, intelligent, but not formally educated. I think he simply says, "What are you up to?" Well, Gomer's got an issue here. I don't think he can lie his way out of this. If the only way you're able to load, Jonah's worked here, so he's seen not only the very first patient, Nolan, go through these processes, But I think there's been multiple patients afterward, and the only people that are going through these downloading Oculus processes are people that have the Neuralink. So Jonah knows right away that Gomer's got the link. Well, Gomer's got to try to lie his way out of it. I think he knows he's the tool. He says, oh, I'm trying to optimize the Oculus unit. I think, does this work? I think no way, but let's roll for it. 15% chance, 17. All right, that makes me feel like, even though it doesn't necessarily, it's a no, it doesn't work, but it's so darn close. I think Jonah says, well, I know you work with the machines, but you work with the surgical machines. And I'm sure he knows, Robbie works with the Oculus. He's been paying attention. Of course he has. I think Gomer, he's weak in state. He's going through whatever migraine pain from this Grok 4 upload that's still in process. I think he comes clean. I mean, he's busted. He says, I have a Neuralink. I think Jonah comes over, sets the mop down, sits down on this lovely couch that's there right next to Gomer and says, well, that's interesting. Knowing you got the surgical bots, I imagine you did it yourself. Because usually anybody in here doing this has a team of people, has a big group of people around them. They ain't doing it by themselves. What are you up to, boy? I think that's good. I'm going to go ahead and end the scene right there. When we come back, we will pick up that discussion. I'm going to have to kind of process that. What are you up to, boy? Stepping out. A couple things to cover is that a procedural drama, which is what we're doing, I'm going to try to keep them tight, short, popping along. And I'll improve, hopefully, as we go. I don't want to meander kind of as wildly as we can, but the Mythic compilation number 5 that I'm using has some things, if you have this book and you've read how to run a procedural drama, some things that I'm not going to do. So one of their first tidbits is that your characters can't die. They will not go away unless there's some particular triggers. I'm getting rid of that. I don't like that. Even as a kid, I always thought a show was way better when you didn't know what could happen, and that's what's going to happen here. So Gomer could die, and then I guess I'll figure out what the heck I'm going to do at that point in time. The parts that I am using here is that one thing that Gomer is doing is he's going to be picking up a crew as he goes along. I don't know where that'll take him. Heck, I think the janitor here might be a possibility for crew. That would be interesting. Potentially, the female coworker coming in could be a member of crew. I originally thought he might be able to win his boss over. I don't feel like Bernadine's going to be up for that at this point in time, but you never know. And then I'm imagining there's some other friends. So the other thing of the procedural drama is we are going to have the lab where Gomer works will be like a set. We are at his work. He will be in that lab. We've kind of established he doesn't go very far away. His home is a secondary lab, and I believe where he's going to do a lot of the training with Grok 4 as he improves. And then I've set up another place, a gaming cafe, where he goes both for the benefits of the great connection, the internet connection. I think he's got a great one at his house as well, but it's also his socializing place. I picture there's like a mother hen that runs that. We haven't been there, but we will go there, and that he appreciates the kind of the woman that runs this joint. And it's also an avenue where he can log in and play his games in what is a bit more of a social place. I think there's food served at this place. So, with the procedural drama that I'm going to be using, we will have particular sets. The lab at work, his house that's a lab, and his gaming den, whatever the heck that's called. And we will be looking to add on crew as we play. So, Jonah's potential, I like the wisdom. I think that's a very good potential character, but we don't know because we'll be using Mythic to see how this works as we play. But that's the Mythic system. This compilation 5, the drama, our characters can die. They are not bulletproof. They're not plot armored. So if we gather characters and crew, even Gomer could end up gone. Anything's possible. Chief, bonding with board games and RPGs, playing Neuralink, the RPG, having fun in the future. See you guys. Please like and subscribe. I do have a Patreon as well. Just go look up Bonding with Board Games. See you guys. Bye.